They say that the creative adult is the child that survived. Now imagine taking pure creativity and making thousands and thousands of crores from it. This is the story of legendary director, writer, and producer Vidhu Vinod Chopra. He's produced movies like Three Idiots, like PK, like the Munnabhai series. Actually, he's not produced the Munnabhai series, he's co-written it. He's put some of his creativity into all these movies. That's the magic of this man. So in today's episode, I try to break down his mind once again. A 67-year-old legend of the Indian film industry, a huge business legend, a huge legend of the creative field, and now he's returning to the process of film direction. He's creating one of those pieces that's extremely close to his heart. His own mum had experienced the Kashmiri Pandit Exodus in the 90s, and this was her last request to him before she passed away. She requested that he create a film that tells the story about the Kashmiri Pandits. So through Shikara, he's kind of sharing one of those stories that's the closest to his heart. I highly recommend you watch this podcast to just understand the emotion with which this man works, the emotion he puts into his work, and of course, all the business lessons, all the life lessons from one of the greatest creative minds that India has ever seen, Vidhu Vinod Chopra on The Ranveer Show. So, we're sitting in a very, very epic place when it comes to the world of Indian films. We're sitting in the office of one Mr. Vidhu Vinod Chopra. So, honestly, I've seen very few media interactions of you.
Yeah, I don't like it so much.
So, huge honor that you're doing this for us. But my first question to you, sir, is about your childhood. You grew up in Srinagar.
Yeah.
So I want to know how this whole filmy keeda bit you there. You're 67 now. So which year were you born in?
52.
52. So in the 50s, what was the filmy keeda that bit you and made you one of Bollywood's biggest producers eventually in life?
See, it's a very interesting story. And for young people, it might be interesting how you change something that's negative into a positive thing.
Okay.
I was very young. I was in Kashmir. My elder brother, Ramanand Sagar, my half elder brother at that time, was making a film called Arzu.
Okay.
And I was in school. My father was not so well to do. So I was in a school called DAV school, and I wore khaki knicker and blue shirt. And I was very excited, and I took my friends, I'll show you the shooting of my brother. And I went. And it was a little awkward because I wasn't really dressed well. I figured that actually I wasn't welcome on the set.
Okay.
And I was very young, and I said, one day I'll make films and show you.
Okay.
So actually speaking, the reason I became a filmmaker was very, very negative. It started with a very, very negative thought that I will show you what I can do.
Yes.
But then I changed that into something that I really wanted to do. And you know how most of us young people, I saw your, the little thing you showed me up there.
Yes, sir.
And it said, if somebody tells you you're fat, go and fix it, by working out. If somebody tells you you're dumb, just become smart enough to make that guy say. So how you change and a negative thing that happens to you into something that's fantastic. That's what I did. So why I'm telling you this very personal thing is for your young kids who are watching this, to really try and understand that you can become what you want to become on your terms. And this office that Ranveer just looked around and said looks like a meditation chamber is an office that proves that.
Yes.
Whatever we have done, whether it's Lagero Munna Bhai, whether it's PK, whether it's Three Idiots, whatever we have done, we have believed in that film.
So I think somewhere in all your films, we do see the same moral. You know that there's that saying of if you want an arrow to go far, you got to pull it back a bit first.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of encapsulates that whole idea.
Yeah.
I want to ask you firstly, seeing this whole office space, I feel like one, there's a lot of creative energy generally here. I'm sure even the way you've selected your team, it's a very creative team. And usually what I see with creative professionals who we hire, it's sometimes difficult to teach them how to monetize their craft, how to make money off creativity.
Yeah.
I want to ask you that same question. So you've been like a writer, director, producer, you've even acted.
Yeah.
and you've gone and kind of monetized that whole process. You made money off it. You made a career of it. So what's that one piece of advice that you have when it comes to monetizing your art? Because I feel it's a very relevant thing today.
I have never thought of it like that, Ranveer.
Okay.
I have always pursued my art.
Okay.
And it's monetized itself. Because the moment you start thinking of monetizing your art, you're bastardizing it, whatever the word is. Because you can't do that. You have to say, this is what I want to do. I will do it to the best of my ability. And let me tell you, it'll monetize itself. I'm a living example of that.
Speaking about you, I want to go back to one of your stories.
Yeah.
There was a movie you made called Khamosh.
Yes.
And it was the first movie you made out of this studio.
Yes.
And I read the plot of the movie. I've not seen it.
Yeah.
Very complex plot. Way ahead of like 80s films.
Yes.
You weren't able to sell it to any distributor. People just didn't buy it.
That's right.
And then I think you kind of went about that whole process yourself.
It was a crazy thing. I made Khamosh. Everybody praised that film. Nobody bought it.
Yeah.
And everybody, Yash Chopra said it's great. And then the craziest thing that happened to me, there was a great distributor, Yash, his name was Gulshan Rai.
Okay.
Huge distributor. And his son Rajiv Rai. One day I got flowers and it says, great film, whatever, from Gulshan Rai and Rajiv Rai. And I was married to Renu Saluja, then my editor, and I said, oh shit, film big, And then we waited for the phone to ring. It didn't ring. We had, the usual rum and coke that night, and we were celebrating that finally our film is sold. Nobody bought that film. And then nobody called. And we never went to the loo also. One of us used to stand next to that one phone, ke bajega. Finally, nahi baja. So I called Mr. Gulshan Rai. I said, I want to meet you. He called me. I went there and I said to him, I met him and I said, thank you for the flowers, sir. And I made Khamosh. He said, what flowers? Which film? What are you talking about? I said, I got flowers from you. He said, nahi, oh, main nahi ho. Rajiv ne bheje. Ek minute. He called, Rajiv, tu phul bheje koi Vinod Chopra? He said, nahi, main nahi bheje Rajiv. So I went to Rajiv Rai and he said, it's a great film. And because he was a director. So I said, will you buy it? He said, no, that my father does. So didn't buy it. And then the crazy thing that happened to me, I had a friend, Shiv Kumar Subramaniam, who had worked with me, and I was walking with him at Carter Road. He says, if you believe in this film so much, why don't you release it? It was a dumb thing to say, how can I release a film? I said, but how can I release it? Kata, why not? And I thought about that, Ranveer. What I did was completely crazy. I hired one cinema, Regal, because Manek Sidhwa, the then owner, I showed him the film, he liked it. One cinema, I put the hoardings, that time we used to put hoardings. I hired it and put my film there. So I was the distributor, which means that if I would not be able to give NFDC 8 lakhs loan, I would be dead because my bank balance was not even 8,000 rupees. Okay? Day one, me, Renu Saluja, Binod Pradhan, my cameraman, we are in the movie theater and it's empty. Nobody's there, 3 o'clock show. And in the balcony, there were just 4 or 5 guys in one corner. There was us and nobody else. And I completely panicked. I made notes. I said, cut this scene. This scene is not working. That scene is not working. That scene is not working. And it finished and I told Renu, I said, yaar, ye sare scene cut de. She said, I won't touch it. Not till the last night show. I said, I am the producer. Abhi to main bada calm ho gaya hu because I'm married to a very calm woman for many years, 25 years. But that time I was very aggressive. I used to carry a knife and all. I was a violent bugger.
Wow.
So I said, no, you can't do this. It's my film. I'm the producer. And Binod took her down. There was a coffee shop in Regal Cinema. I don't know whether it's there now. Down. And I was so angry and I went to the loo. And in the loo, while I'm taking a leak, those 3-4 guys, one of them said, tu kai ko itna chillata hai? Producer hai kya tu? I didn't want to bother and answer him. I kept taking my leak. As he left, he said, tension kai ko leta hai? Tera night show full hai.
Wow.
I got a shock of my life. So I came out, I started looking for the guy, couldn't find him. In the next 2 hours, there was a house full board for the 9 p.m. show. And 9 p.m., those 4 guys were the blackies. That time, the tickets used to sell in black. And was sabko gana, 30 ka 40, 30 ka 40, 30 ka 40. And I looked at him and said, bola tha na? So it was those guys who made the film run. It didn't run for 2 weeks. It ran for 6 weeks. Every week I used to get extension. And while running there, I sold LUP, CPCI and everything and recovered my money. So it's a crazy story for young people.
What's the moral for you on a personal level? Seeing disappointment and then seeing it work.
No, I'm very clear. If you believe in something, just do it.
Okay.
I'm in Shikara. Are you crazy? 11? How old are you?
I'm 26, sir.
It's half your life.
Yeah.
When I started the film, you were 15 years old. Think about it, Ranveer.
Yes.
15 saal ka tha tu. And in 11 years, I can make 3 Munnabhais and figure out how much money I would make in those films. Just figure out. Shut your eyes and think.
Yeah.
Thousands of crores.
Yeah.
11 years of my life to young people, to new actors, to a Kashmiri Pandit crisis of 4 lakh Kashmiri Pandits thrown out of Kashmir.
Yeah.
11 years of my life?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Yeah. Right before this conversation, I actually saw a documentary featuring your mom.
Yeah.
She had actually experienced the whole Exodus back then. And it was a documentary which was like shot 10 years after the incidents.
That's right.
And she goes and visits
Yes, her home.
the place. I'm going to be linking that in the description down
Please do
below.
that. Please do that.
Sir, I want to ask you this one kind of personal question.
Please do.
Personally, for me, on a personal level, a lot of the things I do in my career, that little extra push I give in my own work is for my mother.
Sure.
Is there a similar emotion for you in this film?
For this film, it's for me everything. This whole film I did for my mother. Because when she died in 2007 and she couldn't go back to Kashmir, she told me, "Ke ho sake te beta film banai." So in 2008, I started writing. This. I wouldn't have made this film if she wasn't my mother.
Yeah.
So it is really made for her.
So what has she spoken to you about the incidents?
Everything, because I was grown up. I know everything. Everything she said is in the film.
Okay.
Everything she experienced is in the film. Actually, her name was Shanti Devi, and the character in the film, Sadia, who plays, is called Shanti. So the film is really, in a way, her life and what we all went through. I mean, think about it. Just think about it. Where do you stay?
Dadar.
To imagine, kar, in Dadar, you wake up tomorrow and outside your house, there is a little thing saying, "Ranveer, get out of Dadar in 1 month or you'll be shot dead." How will you react? And then your neighbors are shot. And then they say everybody by the name, what is your full name?
Allahabadia.
Allahabadias would be shot dead. And you have to leave Dadar within 1 month. And you cannot go back to Dadar for 30 years. It's 30 years. They haven't yet gone back.
Yeah.
अब ये तो young लोग सुन रहे हैं ना, politicians सुन लें, पार्लियामेंट में सुन लें तुम्हारा ये पॉडकास्ट, तो उन तक आवाज में 30 years. Can you imagine you can't go back to Dadar?
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So if I gave you 11 years of my life, I gave it because I really think this story needs to be told.
Yeah. Can you explain this a little deeper? Like, why did it actually take 11 years?
Because, see, when you become passionately involved with something, see, there is another important thing. This is also true for your show. And this is true for that monetization thing you said. Ingmar Bergman, if you know, is a Swedish filmmaker, is a grandmaster in cinema. He had principles. He said commandments of cinema. And there are 10, I'll tell you the first 3, which this office believes in. Number 1 commandment when you make a film is thou shall entertain. That's the most important thing. If this show you're doing with me is boring, nobody's going to see it.
Yes.
Bottom line.
Yes.
So if I make Shikara and it's a boring film, nobody's paying $200 to see it. You have to entertain, number 1. Because people are paying money. If these young people go to see my film on Friday, I hope, they're going to buy tickets, no?
Yes, sir.
200, 300, 400. If it's a boring film, why should they pay?
Yeah.
They shouldn't. So, number 1 commandment, thou shall entertain. The second commandment, which is critical, thou shall entertain without selling your soul. Make your show. Don't sell your soul. Make your cinema. Don't sell your soul.
Be yourself.
Be yourself. Be honest to yourself. And the third commandment, of course, is make every film as if it's your last. And it can be. I mean, I'm 67. Maybe the film releases this Friday. I pop it on Sunday. I can.
But
I'm not saying I will. I hope I know. But so this is like, so when you do something as if it's your last, think when you edit the show with me, you think that this is the last show of your whatever you're doing, you will kill for it, man.
Yes. So out of writing, directing, and producing, if you only had to choose one, what would you choose?
I hate producing. I would never produce.
But your name is synonymous with being a producer.
Unfortunately, my name should have been a co-creator.
Okay.
See, in India में क्या था कि नाम क्या देंगे? अब मुन्ना भाई MBBS मैंने लिखी है, पर अब मैं क्या नाम अपना दूं? और डायरेक्टर को मैंने आगे कर दिया तो मैं पीछे प्रोड्यूसर ही बन गया. I hate producing. I should have created a new category saying co-creator, and that would have been the right thing. I don't like producing at all. I hate marketing. I hate producing. I love writing. I love editing, which you forgot. I love editing. I'm an editor. This 100%. Film I've edited. By the way, this is my editing. यार कैमरा घुमा थोड़ा उधर आएगा क्या? वो editing suite आएगा क्या? हाँ, वो है editing. उधर वो that is where I edit. I love those chairs there. So editing is number 1. Writing is number 2, and direction is number 3 because it's very tough. Yeah. And production I hate.
God. So,
if I ever found God sent me some producer who said, do what you want to do, I will not bother you, which is what I told Raju Hirani when I did MBBS. I would say, please produce my film. Yeah, I would love it.
And you'd just like to be that creative.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Nothing else.
They say that the creative adult is the child that survived. Do you agree with that?
I'm surviving. I'm surviving rather well.
Yeah.
So I have to agree with it.
Yeah. Like as in any creative professional always has an inner child inside them. So I also feel that all creative professionals somewhere are slightly spiritually inclined. So
yes, that I am. Yeah. Another thing I will tell you again for your young guys. I hope they listen to this and I hope they learn from my experience. What I do every morning. I wake up around between 6 and 7. But what I do, for the next 5 minutes, I get into a shavasana.
Okay.
Which is, in yoga pose, you go into a shavasana. And I think, what if I was to die this moment?
Every morning?
Almost every morning.
Okay.
Will it be happy death? Then I say, oh, no, yaar, मैंने वो उसकी help करनी थी, वो कर देना चाहिए था. वो उसका वो कर. The next day I do that. So every day, it becomes a kind of introspection that your slate is clean. There's a great saying in Kashmir where I grew up. There was a great saint in a place called Baba Rishi. It's a ziyarat in Kashmir. Wo raat ko he used to sleep in a coffin. And as kids, we were fascinated. And wake up. And the whole idea was that he slept in a coffin, woke up every morning and thanked the Lord for another day. So if you look at life like that, then it changes everything. Let's say I have a week to go. I was sleeping when you came.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm not at all nervous. If you guys like Shikara, I will be very, very grateful. If you don't like it, frankly, I won't be disappointed. It's okay.
Because somewhere you've made it for yourself.
Yeah, it's not for myself. I made it for you guys. But the fact is that maybe you didn't get it. Maybe you'll get it someday. I always think of Van Gogh. He made great paintings in his life.
Yes, sir.
Not one got sold. I mean, I'm not saying I am like him, please. But I'm saying for an artist, his job. There's a great saying in my office. It says, ours is only trying. The rest is not our business.
Yes, sir. 100%. So, but in saying all that, like I know you're showing me your artistic side.
Yeah.
I have to ask you about the business side as well. And I'm going to ask you this question.
Please.
How have you been able to stay relevant from the 80s till now?
I'll tell you where. Budgets.
Okay. Can you explain that?
I don't pay the kind of monies people pay to make a film. The only way I survived Khamosh, because I had made it in 8 lakhs. Parinda was made in 12 lakhs.
Wow.
Only 12 lakhs. Please see the film and then you will know how. But if that film was done in 1 crore, I'd be dead. So what has made me survive is budgets. I see, first of all, I don't throw parties. I don't do anything. So what do I do? What am I wearing? I don't even know what this is. It's not, I have no designer who tells me, wear this and wear you and takes a lakh for that.
Yeah.
I don't. So my expenses are very minimal.
Yeah.
And that is the way to survive.
Got it. In the film industry or in any industry?
In anything. Yes. I'm talking to you as young kids. Now, let us say you have 3 kids here and you say, boys, are we ready? Now, let's say your overheads were 40 guys, 50 guys. would you be honest? I don't know. You'd be thinking, hey, shit, let me ask this. This will sell more.
Got it.
I have to sell more because I have 20 salaries to pay.
Got it. So,
I have 6 guys in this office.
yeah.
My core team is just 6 people.
Yeah. I feel you've kind of made an environment that keeps your mind very comfortable in order to create.
Yes.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
And
It's
that's
essential.
also the intention with designing the office this way. That you've made a very cute creative space so that
it's
you're
mine.
comfortable.
And I'm from Kashmir. All this is from Kashmir. Yeah.
You can see all the
Yeah.
Kashmiri influence.
Yeah.
So, is there any message from your mum to the world? I know you've kind of enveloped it inside the movie somewhere, I'm sure, knowing you. But something you can say on this podcast as well. Because I feel mothers have some of the world's greatest lessons.
Yeah, no, her lesson is in the film. If you see, her house was gone. It was lost, everything. And towards the end, she's hugging the neighbors from all communities.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't know whether we can do that anymore. I mean, that's a great lesson that she forgave everyone.
Forgiveness.
Yes, it's huge.
Yeah.
And to move on, and we cannot put people in one category. I cannot say everybody called Ranveer is like you. The other Ranveer will be different. The third Ranveer will be different. Same thing with religion.
Yes, sir.
All Hindus are not the same. All Muslims are not the same. All Christians, nobody is the same. Yes. So then say कि Vinod Chopra बहुत हरामी है, इसलिए सब Hindu हरामी है. It's terrible, no?
Yes, 100%.
How can you do that?
Yeah.
How can you take an individual who may have done something wrong and then generalize and say everybody by the name of Vidhu Vinod Chopra is an asshole? Or by your name, Ranveer.
Yes,
so that's, you have to see, and that's what I learned from my mother. It was amazing.
Yeah.
For me, I don't think I can be as great as her. I have anger and I get, but she taught me. She kept saying in the documentary, "Theek hai, jo hoya, so ho gaya. Theek hai, it's okay. Let's move on."
Seeing this office and feeling your energy in person, I highly doubt that you're someone who gets angry often.
I used to. I'm not that.
How have you calmed it down with time?
My wife, 25 years, she's very calm.
But what specifically? You think that when you're in a relationship with someone, you kind of merge into the same
Of course,
person?
no, you know, every time I used to get angry, she didn't talk to me for a day or two, so I can't get angry. So it's like I'm trained now to hold my anger. But now I'm not even that angry I used to be as a young man. I get disappointed, and yes, I get angry. I shout a lot, but for the right reasons.
Yeah. So, I genuinely believe that actors, directors and writers are some of the most romantic people in the world because they have to kind of delve into that world of romance often for their work.
Yeah.
Could you just give us a quick kind of version of your love story with Anupama ma'am? Like what had happened there?
This is my third marriage. I married Renu Saluja first, then Shabnam Sukhdev, who shot my mother's documentary. I fall in love even now, and sometimes I have to tell myself, hey, go easy, you're 67, don't fall in love so easily. But I do. I love women. I think women are far better than us men.
Why do you say that?
I find they're gentler.
Empathetic.
And empathetic, yes. And because they are the creators of life, they are very, very different from us. 100%. I think as a gender, if I had the choice to sit with 5 men or 5 women, just like that, I'd sit with 5 men any day.
Yeah.
But I love the gentleness, the caring, the affection that women have.
What did you learn from your first 2 marriages?
Not much. Don't marry too many times, I guess. But I mean, you learn from life. You don't learn from one marriage or not this marriage. Every day is a learning. Yeah. Every day is a learning.
Did you go through the usual bachelor breakup trauma?
Yes. So, hugely.
Can you explain that? a Devdas mode?
Yes, hugely. My first marriage, when it broke, it just killed me.
Like you were like, ye kaise hua? I thought my whole life was going to be with this person.
Yes, exactly. I never thought that would happen to me. It's crazy because now when I look back, I say, oh shit, how could that be me? I mean, for young people to know, there was a moment in my life after Sajai Maut and before Khamosh where I just wanted to kill myself because I said, oh shit, nothing is working for me.
Which was primarily your personal life?
Personal life and the fact that Sajai Maut didn't work. And so I was writing Khamosh in Khandala and I actually walked up to the highway. But it was my love for my brother and my family and my father and my mother that stopped me.
Yeah. And we wouldn't have gotten 3 Idiots or
Yes.
Munnabhai
Nothing.
MBBS.
Or Shikara, for God's sake. Yes,
Shikara.
Won't have got it, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not unusual to be disappointed, which again your young viewers or readers or whatever or listeners should understand that there can be a disappointment. You can get depressed and unhappy, but then think of this. When I must be in 20s then, this Shikara wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't be here.
Yes,
I mean, just think about it.
yeah. And all the lives that you're touching wouldn't have been
So
touched.
many, for God's sake. Yeah.
But so now become a bhaiyaji
Huh.
to younger brothers.
Yes.
And give some advice to younger brothers who are suffering from breakup trauma.
See, you have to look ahead or back. Just whatever you think something terrible is happening to you, breakup. Let's say you're 20 and some shit has happened. Think, will this matter to you when you're 50 or 67? The answer is it won't. You won't even remember.
Even if you think that girl was your ultimate.
Renu Saluja was the closest to me for many, many years. And I was telling Anuja the other day that now when I talk of Renu, I have to shut my eyes and recall how she looked.
Wow.
She was the love of my life for 5 years or 7 years. We were married. She edited all my films. But अभी तो रेनू बोलता मुझे याद करने के लिए आंख बंद करना पड़ता है. So when you want to kill yourself, or when you want to say, oh shit, my life is over, just think, how would you look to that moment when you're 67? It won't matter.
Yeah.
It is of no consequence. You won't remember that.
Yeah. So how do you look back at your love life now?
Oh, I had a great life, man.
That you learn from each relationship.
I learn from you now. You're teaching me.
Okay.
No, honestly, I'm looking at you. I'm trying to talk to you in a way because you have young people. I'm trying to give these young people my life in the best, most honest way, so that I can touch their lives, which I've done through my films like Lagero or 3 Idiots. 3 Idiots was all about young people.
100%.
I said, chase excellence, success will follow.
100%. So everything that I am today, in huge part, is actually credited to 3 Idiots. More specifically, R. Madhavan's character.
That's right.
Where he was in engineering college and he wanted to do something artistic.
Photographer, he wanted to become a cameraman. And there's a great line when his father says, if you do that, you will curse yourself. Yeah. And he said, if I don't do it, I will curse you.
Yeah.
Better I curse myself than you. That's one of my favorite lines.
That's a part of your life as well, right?
I think it is.
You had the same experience with your dad?
Yes. When I told him I want to do films in Kashmir, we were poor. He slapped me. खाएगा क्या बॉम्बे में? मर जाएगा, भूखा मर जाएगा.
What gave you the guts to come to Bombay then?
Just madness, yeah. You have to have the madness.
Like, can you explain that a little more?
I mean, like I told you that I used a negative emotion that I turned into a positive one. But I was crazy. I just wanted to make films. And all I wanted in the Film Institute was to make one film before I die. Just one. I'll tell you another crazy thing. When I used to travel in that third class from Jammu, Kashmir to Bombay, these nariyal trees used to start appearing. And I used to say, the city of my dreams, the city of my dreams. That nariyal tree I associated with Bombay. Even now, when I walk out of my one building to another where I live, there's a nariyal tree. And I always look at that nariyal tree and say, thank you, Bhagwanji, for everything. I'm grateful.
Wow.
Because for me, that tree was a symbol of Bombay.
Yeah.
And today, I'm sitting talking to you here and all I have done in this long journey is really being honest to who I am and where I came from.
And if you had to just scan your entire life and write one line just describing its biggest moral, what would that line be?
Honesty.
Stay honest.
Yeah.
To yourself, to the
yourself.
world.
It's a very loaded word.
Got it. Okay.
To yourself, most important. See, when you're having a shower by yourself, nanga, under that shower,
yes,
you have to be at peace. Nobody's watching you. There's no Instagram. There's no click, no likes, dislike. Are you humming a song? Are you at peace with yourself? Or in the morning, like I said, when I wake up and I say, if I was to go, can I?
Yes.
I mean, you have to be honest to yourself. It's a very, very important thing. And if there's any mess up you have done, fix it quickly. Because one of these days, brother, you're going to go.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, but wo to likha hua hai. There's a lovely thing I saw. there was a Pakistani guy saying very nicely, कहते कि हम नंग धड़ंग आए हैं और नंग धड़ंग जाएंगे और बीच में जो मिला ना वो बोनस है bonus. It's just bonus.
Yeah,
I love that.
You come to the world alone and you will leave alone.
And everything else, this conversation is a bonus.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, imagine.
Really.
So, yeah, it's all a bonus.
Stay honest, do your work honestly, chase excellence,
and keep striving, which is very, very important.
Strive for greatness.
Yes, absolutely.
Vidhu Vinod Chopra, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Huge honor talking to you.
Thank you so much.
And genuinely, guys, go watch Shikara. And I will be linking all the important handles down below.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.